It's John here from Speedy Brick. And what an incredible Formula One race we had on Sunday. The first race of the season, and let's hope that we get the same excitement throughout the entire season. We had 3 different manufacturers on the podium. We had McLaren taking the checkered flag, then Red Bull, and then Mercedes. The second Mercedes came in 4th, and then a Williams 5th. So the top 5, we had 4 different teams, which is incredible. I certainly don't think that we had that last year. I do feel a bit sorry for Oscar Piastri. He did a great job, but just kind of the one mistake around one corner ruined his whole race. But he did a great job in overtaking Lewis Hamilton to get 9th. Lewis came in 10th. Not a great start for Ferrari, but it was a great race. I'm so looking forward to China in the weekend coming up. But anyway, I built 5 cars and I really enjoyed the differences between them all. There was some things that were kind of all the same, but that's okay. That's okay. We've got the front wing and the back wing and they're kind of all the same. But today we're going to be building another new car, and that is the Alpine, or BWT Alpine. It's set 77248. It's got 258 pieces, which I'm not sure, that might be the least number of pieces of all the sets. I'll have to check that. I'll do a piece count check later. And I'm also going to look at how many printed elements and how many decorations. We'll see if there's any other new pieces in this set as well. We had new pieces in 4 of the 5 new sets so far. So let's see what's in the box, and let's get building. So let's have a quick look at the box before we open it up. We get a really nice side image of the car here, and on the back we've got a picture of the actual car, and it's actually quite a good color match to the model. But let's open her up and see what's inside. Oh, we've got some colorful bags here. It's quite nice. We've got a sticker sheet with 26 stickers on it, so we'll do a full count of that. I'll go through all the bags and see if there's any new there as well. And what's our comparison on this set? So we've got visual of the car, the real car, with 18,000 components, and the Lego set with 258. So that's quite interesting. I did have a quick check to see which model of the models that I've built so far had the least number of parts, and that was surprisingly was actually the Red Bull. But of all of the cars, from the 10 cars, the Haas has the least pieces. So that has 242 pieces. The Red Bull has 251 pieces, so 7 pieces less. But that's no big deal. Let's sort out the parts, see if there's anything new inside, and let's get building. Just before we get building, I thought we'd look at the printed elements and the special pieces that we get with the set. We've got 2 of these new elements left and right, which is really nice. We've got our new suspension elements in our rear wing, which is all standard. We've got this really nice printed element for the 1x6. We've got another 1x1 G-slope printed, a couple of 1x1 tiles printed. And we've got our set of wheels printed and hubs printed. And of course the steering wheel. We've got our minifig. So there's a total of 16 prints here, and we've got a total of 29 stickers. So total decorations are 45, which is the smallest number in total so far, even less than the Aston Martin, which I built on Saturday. So it's going the wrong way, I guess. So we had the Ferrari with the most at 61, and this has only got 45. So I guess more love for the Ferrari than for the Alpine. But anyway, let's get building. Tag 1 and 2 complete, and we're up to step 34. It's pretty simple so far,
but I do like all these bright colors. That's making it a bit more fun. It's a very simple building process so far, and I love the use of these parts. So you get, in the set, you get some really good parts, and if you like these bright colors, then you get some really good bright colors. There's some things in it which are a bit funny, like this piece here, having a jumper plate and then putting a 1x2 on top of it. Why not just make it a 1x2 with another 1x2 on top? There's a couple of instances like that where maybe it's for the keep the type of parts down. I don't know, but overall, so far so good. It's quite different from the others, which is also good. And I quite like to see that there's all these differences coming in the design process, in the build process, so that's good. But let's check out bags 3 and 4. It's bags 3 and 4 complete, and we're up to step 67. And so far, the design is going really well. We've got pretty much the same as a few of the others with the back wing, but we've got less decoration and less complexity in there. So we've missed out on those two pieces that were by the Aston Martin, and we've missed out on the decorations on all the others. This is very straight and angular. I'm not sure how they could have changed that, but perhaps there's was some room for perhaps a bit more of an angle in here. But I really like this structure, and I like the fact that this is nice and thin. Some of the others, the Ferrari does it quite well as well, where it's got nice and thin, but some of the others are a bit too bulky, and that's because I've got something in between, and I think maybe those things need to be removed to make it kind of more streamlined. And this I'm not sure about. I suppose it looks okay. This is all much the same, but there was all these great coloured pieces in here, and then they've just been covered up with black. So it's kind of a pity. So we don't see all the fun little coloured bits that were in here. So a lot of the colour has just disappeared. But it was fun using the colours in the build. But that's also not great if you're going to be mocking, right? So either you want to use those parts, or you want to use black or grey or some other kind of standard colours. This blue is, I guess, a standard colour. But I guess it opens the scope for other things. But so far I'm quite enjoying it. But let's get on with the rest of the build. That's the build complete. There was 91 steps in total, which I think is the least number of steps from all the builds so far. I think the Aston Martin was 99, but I will check all of them and tally it up at the end. It's also the least decorated car. I did forget to include this element in my print count. So there was 17 printed elements and 46 decorations in total, including the printed and sticker elements. But I quite like the look of the car, actually, and I think this central piece is even perhaps the most accurate out of all of them. It's still too wide in total, but it's much narrower than the rest, apart from the Ferrari, which also was narrow. So I'm going to have to look at how we're going to modify all of these cars to be narrower at this top end and to fix this. So looking at the car overall, I quite like it. I quite like the structure through here. And this is another divergence from the standard. So we've got, I think now, 3 different variants in this part. No variation here. No variation here. A couple of variants here, but not much. As I said, 3 here. The mirrors and this piece, there's a couple of variants, but not much. And here is where kind of all the variation is coming. And that's really quite nice. And I quite like this design, actually. There's a little bit of a gap here, which you can see through. But overall, it's quite a good build. I quite enjoyed it. It was quick and simple. So what do you guys think of this one? Let's have a quick comparison against some of the other cars. So let's compare it against the Ferrari. So the most decorated car against the least decorated car. And this piece is effectively in the same position, but quite different. So here we've got quite a nice shaping through here. Here we've got more of a brick built. This width of this is even wider than this. So I'll take it back what I just said about this. This Ferrari is much more accurate as far as the total width goes. So that's quite good. But I like the way that this is kind of all brick built through here to create that channel. And here you've got a big gap. So I would have liked to seen something in there. Whereas here you actually have something in there. So that's quite good. I quite like this variation of these sawtooth. I think that's quite nice. This is all the same. But of course the massive amount of decoration on the Ferrari makes a big difference. So I'd go with the Ferrari over the Alpine, but the Alpine's very kind of sleek and simple to build and nice. So it rates quite highly so far, even though it's a very simple build. But Ferrari ahead of the Alpine so far. So let's compare the two least decorated cars, the Alpine and the Aston Martin. I quite like the Aston Martin actually, and I quite like the way that these side elements are all brick built, and there's no gaps anywhere. So from both of those, that's really quite good. We've got a little bit of variation here, and a tiny bit of variation in the back wing, but not hugely. I prefer this element to this element actually, because it's lower, but this is quite cool. Yeah, let's face it. But I like this. I prefer this very sleek approach to, this being stuck out because of this element here. So I might even take all those out later on. And I do like this complexity of the build here, or the simplicity of the build here. And I really like the complexity of the floor of the Aston Martin. So we've got all the stuff going on here, and that we don't have that with the Alpine. It's much simpler. So that's kind of a letdown for the Alpine. So I'd put the Aston Martin ahead of the Alpine for that reason alone, the fun of building. But I do like this car. I like this simplicity through here, and I like the sleekness here. So let's have a look at the others. So comparing the McLaren, which has got some really cool features to it, the structure through here, which everyone on the internet is praising. I do like it, but I don't like the gap there. And I don't like the fact that it's kind of so flimsy in the back end. I don't know if that's something I've done. I can't find anything that I've done wrong, but that's kind of flimsy. So I'm still putting the McLaren, because of this flimsiness in the back, I'm putting it way down. But I do like the structure through here. I like the angle through there, and I like the whole building process. That was quite fun as well. But yeah, I'm going to put the McLaren at the back because of this. So the Alpine sits slightly above the McLaren. So let's have a quick comparison against the Red Bull. The Red Bull so far has been my favourite, and part of it's because we've got this airflow going through underneath the side pods, which we don't have in the Alpine. I mean, this is just lock solid against the floor here. So yeah, that's kind of a bit of a negative for the Alpine, but I think this is better than kind of this continuation is better than this one because it's a bit too wide. But here we've got this fantastic print on this two planes of this element, and that just looks so good. And I really do like the whole structure here. But I do like the Alpine. Red Bull's coming ahead of the Alpine, but let's check out one of the others. So lastly, but not leastly, is the Mercedes. And I really like this car. I love all this decorations through here and all these printed elements. And that really brings the whole model up. I like this brick built side of things. And we get a bit of nice decorations, but it's so undecorated, the car. It really kind of lacks that. And it lacks all this fun building process in the middle as well. It was kind of too simple. I quite like the simplicity as well, but it is kind of too simple compared to the Mercedes. So I'm going to rate the Alpine above the McLaren only because of this back end, but below the Mercedes and the Aston. So what do you guys think? Will you be adding the Alpine to your collection? I do actually like it. There's lots of bits going on with all of these cars, and I'm actually enjoying putting them all and comparing them and seeing what's different about them all. But what do you guys think? Is this something you want to build yourself? Let me know in the comments, and until the next one, bye. Please click to subscribe for more videos and watch my build and review videos by clicking here. Thank you.